This is the part 2 and the conclusion of the story titled, My Wife is My Secret Landlady That I Pay House Rent To. In the part 1 of this story, we discover how heartbroken it was for a man to be living with his wife in a house owned by that his wife, and he kept paying house rent to his wife unknowingly to him. It got to the point that he had to sell his land to pay house rent. Then one day he discovered that he has been paying house rent to his wife who was living with him. Now the story continued. When he discovered this, he was heartbroken, but he has to do something to address this matter. He quickly took a decision when he noticed that his wife was at the door coming inside. He went to hide the document. He returned them back to where he got them from and decided not to talk about it for now. As he was doing that, his wife came in. When she came in, she noticed that her husband was tensed up. She asked to know if there was any problem with him and collected his clothes from him. The man pretended that everything was okay. He told her what happened at the office where he went to look for a job and his decision to go for the minor job while waiting for the bigger one. The wife sat beside him to discuss with him as usual. Of course, to motivate him as usual with word of mouth. He started expressing his regret for the present condition of things, and the only thing available for him was a job of OND holder that cannot take care of his bills. Ever his wife held him close to talk to him. As soon as she started her normal talk of consolation, the husband, Mr. Samuel, made a request from her. He started by saying, "Baby, I want you to do something for me." She replied, "Baby, what is it?" As soon as he mentioned money and asked her to borrow him some money, she got upset because she has to be asked for money by anyone. She told her husband never to make such statement again to her. She started by telling her husband that his evil plans will not work in her business. She repeated it again that his evil plans will not bring her business down. She said that any amount of money she removes from her business will affect her business. The following day, her husband, Mr. Samuel, decided to play his own card secretly too. He made a forgery of his wife's signature after drafting a note, addressing it to the agent managing his wife's building. In the note, he requested as the owner of the house that the present house rent should be cancelled and that there should be no payment of house rent in that house till further notice. After that, he copied the letter into his flash drive and hurriedly moved out to go and print the letter, after which he will post it to the agent. He arranged the house document and dropped it back to where his wife kept it. I asked a question. The document was not actually hidden where no one can find it. Then I asked why, because such was not supposed to be kept in the same house if she had wanted no one to see it. Maybe there was a reason for that. We will find out. Let's continue. Later that evening, Mr. Samuel was at home when his wife returned. She returned with what she called good news to cheer her husband up for some moments. She called his attention and asked him to sit up that she came with good news. She claimed that she went to speak with the house agent. She told him that it was not easy to get the attention of the house owner. She requested to meet the house owner, but the agent refused until after much pleading, they connected both of them. She said that after pleading with the house owner, he accepted to give them grace of 1 month to pay the rent. She was saying all this without knowing that the husband has discovered the truth. The husband was nodding and has refused to tell her anything. What is going to happen when she finds out? Because she will definitely find out. Let's see. The next day in the morning, Mr. Samuel didn't go looking for a job again because he knew that the agent will visit with a response letter. Suddenly someone knocked at the door and he went to get the door. He went and returned with a letter from the agent. He already knew what the content of the letter would be, but he has to pretend. He opened and went through the letter and became excited, calling his wife's attention. He said, "Honey, God has done a great thing for us. Take a look and see what I have here. Finally, the house rent has been taken care of." She asked which house rent was taken care of and by who, because I was not aware. She smiled and told him that he was joking. She saw that he was serious and her mood changed. She could not believe it to be true because whenever the house rent is paid, she must get the transaction notification before the letter will be issued to the tenant. She dropped the laptop in her hand and picked up the letter again to go through it carefully, especially the signature, which she could not remember signing. She was mad at that because she could not possibly rule off the rent and asked that no payment should be made till further notice. The husband was excited while she left the room to the toilet to make call to the agent. She called the agent and was mad at him. She promised him that she would close down his company if he did not tell her who issued such instructions and who forged her signature. The agent told her that he acted according to her instructions and that he has the original letter from her. She told him that she is coming to see the original letter. Eva was highly upset and was ready to do anything to get her money. She visited the agent, foaming in anger, and was not ready to accept any excuse from him. Both of them marched outside to talk. She asked him if she looked like someone running a charity organization that she will possibly rule away such huge amount of money. In addition, close payment of house rent of that house till further notice. All the agent's explanation was ineffective. She threw the paper at him and asked him to provide her money within 24 hours or meet her in court. The agent stood there confused because he was sure of her instructions. Eva was restless and she rushed home to question her husband. On getting home, she saw the house document on the bed. She picked it up, turned to where she kept it, and turned back to her husband. The husband stood up and asked her why. He said, "So you own this house and you have the heart to watch me suffer this much?" He was broken. Eva was shocked to know that her husband was the person that signed her signature. She fell back to the seat. Now, Eva made something clear to us. She told him that she was not hiding the ownership of the house from him, that she was just keeping what belonged to her. Eva told the husband what she was taught or understood about marriage. She said that the moment her father handed her over to him and he removed her father's surname from her names and put his own surname, automatically he became her father, and as such must feed her, clothe her, protect her, counsel her, and provide for her because she has become his baby. Mr. Samuel said that as the head of the house, that she must not keep secret from him. She told him that men are not the head of the house, that men are created to be the foundation of the house, that carry every weight of the house, including the wife, the kids, and the bills. She said that in the real sense, women are not supposed to go to work, that any man his wife is working is a privilege to him. This view was what Eva came into her marriage with. At the end, it all ended with argument. Now listen, Eva might be right that husbands are like father to their wives, and the Hebrew word for father is Abba, which does not mean male. It means source and also means sustainer. Abba is the source where something came out from, and whatever that came out of it, it has to sustain it. Woman came out of man, making man her source, and she required to be sustained by her source, which is man. This theory is right, but please let me bring us to understand that there is nothing like teamwork, that a man is doing house chores to help his wife, or that a woman somehow provides financial support to help her husband is not against God's plan. It is called a teamwork and an act of sacrifice which well interprets the word love, because love is not just the emotional feelings we get, but love is sacrifice and can be weighed in the presence of trouble, not when everything is moving fine. Love is sharing, love is sacrifice, love is painful, and love is not how much we take from it, but how much we put to sustain it, and this must come from both parties. Finally, I advise that you don't ever take your partner's effort for granted. Don't forget that love is sharing. Please show your own love right now by sharing this video, and see you next Friday. This is House of the Sons Global.